I'm the worst. We're doing an Inside 2 review, so let's get cracking. Hello, all my explorers, and welcome back to Loren's Adventures Out There. And if you're new, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Loren, and I'm with Castles, Capes, and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. We talk Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, The Muppets, 20th Century, National Geographic, Disney Plus, ABC, Hulu, and more. So if you like that kind of content, we'd love it if you would subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Okay, so I had an opportunity to watch Inside Out 2, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. But first, I wanted to tell you that Inside Out, the original movie, was my favorite, or is my favorite, Pixar film. There are two reasons why it's elevated to that point. One, I suffer from chronic depression, but I outwardly look like a really happy and joyous person. And sometimes it's hard because when I get depressed or get sad, people start freaking out. And this movie to me, though, was a reminder that sadness is necessary. And sometimes you just can't be happy all the time. And it doesn't matter what other people think. It's inside you that something that you need to feel. So that was one lesson that I should say was reinforced, because therapy has also helped me with that. But the other thing was that her specific journey of being an 11-year-old kid moving from Minnesota to the Bay Area and dealing with the trauma that came with that was exactly my story. At 11, my family moved from Minnesota to the Bay Area, and it was such a traumatic experience for me. Minnesota were my wonder years. I absolutely loved everything about living in Minnesota, and to be ripped out of that and brought to California, where there weren't really any other kids to play with in the neighborhood, and neighbors didn't really come out and talk to each other like they did in Minnesota, where the whole street, all of the adults were friends, all the kids were friends. And so that was a really hard thing for me. And so I really related to the story in that specific way. So anyway, when they announced that Inside Out 2 was being developed, I started getting scared because I didn't know how they could mess with perfection. Or I didn't want them to mess with perfection. I thought that the story was great as is. But they managed to find another story that totally works within this universe, and within Riley's head. What happens is that the original core emotions really got down to working together like a team, at like they did at the end of Inside Out. But one day, all of a sudden, that pooperty button or alarm on the console starts ringing out. All of these crazy changes start happening, and four new emotions are introduced into the mix: anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and ennui, which is kind of like a boredom. And so now Riley is 13, going through puberty with a lot of heightened emotions, and anxiety really wants to protect Riley from all of the other variables that go on, and she ends up taking control with the other four new emotions and ends up bottling the original emotions. And so there's one storyline where the original team has to return to headquarters, and the other team is trying to protect Riley in the way that they think is the way to go. And there are just some fun adventures along the way. There's always, I love the fact that they use so many, like, just puns in there, like the sarcasm. There's a sarcasm. There's a brainstorm. All of these things that just make this universe so fun. But I love the fact that they had these other emotions that were brought in that were, are very much emotions that happened during puberty. I love that the way that they did the movie this time, Riley is more of a star in her own movie, and we get to see what is going on in her head and then what she does. And there's a lot more of that than what happened in the first movie, and I really loved that. I really loved the new emotions. Maya Hawke, the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, is the voice of anxiety. And I don't even know how they decided to pick her. She's from Stranger Things, but she did a really good job. Ayo Edebiri, from The Bear, she was Envy, and Paul Walter Hauser played Embarrassment, and then the French actress Adele, and I'm gonna mangle this, but Exarchopoulos, I think, played Ennui. Also, not returning were Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling, sadly, but they were replaced by Tony Hale and Filipino-American actress Liza Lapira. And I thought that they did a good job mimicking the original voices. The other thing I liked about this film is that while the movie really is about joy and anxiety, the two different leaders of the teams, each emotion got to shine in its own way, which was different from the first film. You had three emotions that didn't shine as much, and I thought that they really kind of gave the other emotions a little more chance, especially anger. Anger got a lot more in this than in the first film, and I thought that that was great. It's interesting how anxiety was kind of the leader of the new emotions, but she was almost the villain in this film, but at the same time, she wasn't. Anxiety is something that we all go through. I actually, again, I suffer from anxiety, not only chronic depression, but anxiety. And I know what an anxiety attack feels like. And they did it so well in this film. Like, I literally was feeling the anxiety for her when she had an anxiety attack. It was just so beautifully done. And I just really loved this film. Is it as good as the first film? I don't think that it was as good as the first film, but I thought that it was a worthy sequel, and I think that it is definitely up there in the Pixar canon. One of the things that they didn't have was that bing bong moment, like that moment that just really tore your heart out. But I did actually cry during the film. I thought that there were very touching moments, and so I think that that's good. But just nothing that really kind of ripped my heart out. Although I did really feel that anxiety attack. So I really recommend this film. If you were hesitant about seeing this film, don't be. Because I think that if you liked Inside Out, the original, you will like this film. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. If you've seen this film or if you're going to see this film, let me know. And let me know what you think once you do see the film. All right. Well, that is it for my review. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below. Visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. And thank you so much, and we will see you later. Bye!